Two bird strike incidents 1,000 kilometers apart on Sunday prompted the aviation regulator DGCA to shoot off a letter to airports across the country asking them to strictly implement guidelines pertaining to wildlife hazard management. A SpiceJet Boeing 737 plane flying on the Patna to Delhi route on Sunday afternoon with 185 passengers on board landed back minutes after takeoff after experiencing a bird strike. The hit led to sparks and fire in one of the engines, prompting the pilots to turn off the affected engine before making the emergency landing. Modern-day airliners are built to operate even with a single engine. Bird and animal movement goes up around airports, particularly during the monsoon season, because of increased insect breeding in the nearby fields. In the second incident that occurred hours later, a Delhi-bound Indigo Airbus A320neo was forced to return to Guwahati airport due to a bird hit. Here too, the pilots shut down the affected engine. The aircraft was at 1,600 feet when its left engine suffered the impact. Most strikes occur below 3,000 feet above ground level. In both these events, the pilots made safe landings and nobody was hurt. The presence of birds and animals on and in the vicinity of an airport pose a serious threat to aircraft operational safety. The most serious strikes are those involving ingestion of birds into an engine or windshield strikes. They can result in emergency situations requiring prompt action by the pilot. Engine ingestions may result in sudden loss of power or engine failure. According to DGCA data, there were 1,466 bird strike incidents last year across Indian airports, a 27% increase from 2020. This translates to about 4 bird strike incidents per day. Government officials said that airports were quieter than usual due to limited number of flights amid the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic, and quieter airports attract more birds and animals.
Bird strikes, and not just bird strikes, we have seen in the past dogs entering into runways. On takeoff roll, an aircraft has rammed into a cow. We've had several incidents where aircraft have been climbing en route out of airports and have struck high altitude birds, including vultures and kites. This is something which is very common in India, and the biggest reason for this the biggest reason for this occurring is the proximity at which there is a tremendous amount of garbage, waste being disposed of near the airport, near runways, in the glide path, in the approach path, in the takeoff path. Ahmedabad is one airport, for example, which has had several bird strikes on takeoff, on landing, and mostly birds which are high altitude birds. I remember when I was in SpiceJet, on takeoff, we had one of our Boeing 737-800s hit a kite, and the entire nose and weather radar, we had to spend $400,000 just to replace the weather radar. Man-animal conflict has reared its ugly face one too many times, and I think now collectively there has to be a holistic policy, and this policy has to be more as an interministerial policy, where the Ministry of Environment and Forest and the Ministry of Civil Aviation and DGC all come together and come to some sort of an action plan. There's got to be a collective, cohesive working document so that every airport has the right expertise, the right knowledge, and the right perspective to tack on and deal with such issues. India isn't like Europe or the US, where the most birds are up to 200, 300, 500 feet, like ducks or geese and so on. I mean, we have some very heavy and high flying birds, and these birds weigh about at least 9 kg. So you can imagine the mass in which it hits the aircraft. It's quite devastating.
Some of the key reasons for bird strike incidents include urbanization around the airport, agricultural activities, garbage dumps and landfills, sewage treatment, grassland, and the presence of butcheries near the airport. Bird hits are fairly common as airports are situated in urban areas. The case is higher for India as most of the cities suffer from improper waste management and open drains attracting stray birds. The risk of bird hits at Patna Airport, where the SpiceJet plane made the emergency landing, is higher due to the presence of an open abattoir and butcher shops around the airport. The Aircraft Rules 1937 prohibit dumping of garbage and slaughtering of animals in a way that could attract birds and animals within a 10-kilometer radius of airports. Airports can employ various methods to keep birds away from their vicinity. The measures include trimming of grass, spraying of insecticides, frequent runway inspections, deployment of bird chasers, noise makers, reflective tapes, laser beam guns, and regular garbage disposal. The DGCA also said that there should be no water concentration and open drains. Further, constant surveillance of the airports by their respective wildlife control units is necessary. While pilots are trained in managing bird strike events, clearly more needs to be done on ground by airport operators with the help of local authorities to reduce the occurrence of bird and animal strikes.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.
सब अच्छी दिख रही हैं यार, कौन सी खरीदूं? ये तो वही बात हुई, 4000 शेयर्स लिस्टेड है, कौन सा लूं? वो तो सबसे आसान है। तुझे 5 पैसा नहीं पता?
अब तो सबको पता है। 5 पैसा पर है 4000 स्टॉक्स की रिसर्च, टेक्निकल टूल्स और इन्वेस्टमेंट आइडियाज। डाउनलोड 5 पैसा नाउ।
अब तो सबको पता है, investing made easy and rewarding with 5 paisa. Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.